Okay, here's the children. As you can see, these are children of a plural marriage. So Franklin Garr was a child of a plural marriage family. He was the second of 12 children, of the second of three wives, of a total of 27 total children of his father. For me to work with the software, I can only put one thing in there, and that's why you're going to see it written. They're all going to be written in that format. What child there is of their mother, who was what, first or third or second wife, and then the total children in the family. So most of us would not be familiar with what it's like living with 27 children of the same father. And you will find stories in there what it is like. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not as good as the other times. Notice on the on the left side, you got that box where it says plus 4 and 5. So once a parent is in there, so it'll give the father or the mother, who's ever the direct descendant, and say when they were married and their spouse with their vital information, and then it lists all the children. If there is a plus mark in front of the children, that means there's someplace else in the book with their spouse and their children. If there is nothing in front of it, usually they were single or they died young. And in many cases, they died young. There's a lot of people, it seems like most of the families back in the 1880s, only half the children made it to adulthood. Let's see. If you look at the bottom of this where it says she died on the 21st of August, 1871 at the age of 7. So the software is set up that it tells you what the age was when they got married, the age when they died. So that's kind of included, which is nice. Okay, here's an example of a husband and wife. The husband is the direct descendant. He has the number in front of it. Direct descendant always comes first, and so sometimes it's men, sometimes it's women, and gives their information, which could be a bio or obituary. As you can see, this obituary, I just have what it talks about him in the obituary, not the funeral home, the time, and all that kind of stuff. Then it says they're married, and I don't think I did in the Crookston book, but later on I started adding. I would put how many children they have, their names if I have them, and their grandchildren. You must be aware that as people get closer to current times, they might. So I'll put that. So like in hers, I put that Evelyn was the oldest of 6 children. Sometimes I only can go by what's on Family Search, and if there's still one or two of the children that are in their 90s or 100, I might miss them, so that might not be fully accurate when you start getting into the 1930s and beyond. But I did the best I could, so you could show where they're at in the family, how big of a family. And I think that's all with this slide. So if we go to the next slide, here's the end notes. So you saw lots of numbers there, and they get up into the thousands. So if you look at number 90, if you go to that person, it will send you to this end note. And this tells you it's from Family Search. This is actually memories. It gives the ID of the Family Search person, so you can look it up really quickly. And it tells you that I got the information from the life history of Doan Clarence Sanders, and I captured it on March 3rd, 2026. So you can go directly there. If I only took a story and there's a lot more there, you might want to read more about the family. You'll notice that Find a Grave in there is quite in there quite often. That is the memorial number. So use that number, go to Find a Grave, put in the memorial number, and it'll take you right to the Find a Grave. I am fixing the Find a Graves as I come along to them, so they include family connections, so the parents or the children or whatever. So they should be pretty good to go and see a pedigree of the various people that are in Find a Grave. If you look at number 98, that is a book, since I'm doing the Gar family. The book was written in 1990 or 1892 is when it was published. Had 15,000 Gar names, and I have all of them in my database. And so all the ones that fit underneath this family will give a page number where they're at and give them their ID number so you can look them up in something that was written back in the 1890s. Quite a valuable resource. Here's a footnote. This is like if you look at the 1197 footnote, it says Crookston Family Histories number 18, Miriam Jane Peterson. So that means I probably got something on her like a life sketch or maybe a biography, and I got I kept a copy of it so I could look anything up because I didn't include everything, and that I bundled into a PDFs that are usually about 200 to 300 to 400 pages. And on page 278, you could go find the rest of the story if you want there. So that is available if you want to contact me on finding those. And the last thing I was going to show is the index of names. So it has the name of everybody that's in there that's got is in there as a child or a parent or whatever, except the living where they're kind of included with one of those. Those will not be in the index of names. And the index of names tells when they're born, and it gives the location, and sometimes they're in two locations, one as a child and one as a parent. If you go over to the right side, there's also an index of places, every place that's listed in the book. So I just pulled this one because this is Salt Lake County, and this is just a short, small one I did of just that Sarah Gar. If it was the full book, you would see lots and lots of cities from Salt Lake County. But anyway, if you look at that, it goes state, then county, or it goes country, then state, then county, and then within the county it has all the names. And in this case, if you go down to Murray, it first shows anybody that was born or died in Murray or got married in Murray, and gives a page number. You can go and see who that is. And then it gives the Murray City Cemetery. And then there's, it looks like 4 or 5 people have been buried in the Murray City Cemetery, and you could go to those pages and see who's buried there. I can tell right here, this is one of the problems I get in getting my information is Wasatch Lawn Memorial Park. Some people think it's in Salt Lake City. Some people think it's in Mill Creek. Some people think it's in East Mill Creek. And so it's listed a few places. It is actually in Mill Creek as what they show on Find a Grave. I try to get those changed when I can, but a lot of people enter them in Family Search incorrectly, saying it's in Salt Lake City. So if you go to Salt Lake City, you're going to find a lot of people in Wasatch Lawn Memorial Park also. Well, this is the end of my book. So basically, here I show family photos, and because everybody has a bust, I do want to put some family photos in there, and I've got them in 4 different formats. The most common one is where there's 2 pictures by 2 pictures, 2 columns, 2 rows. Here's one where I've done, so there'll be multiple pages there, maybe a few pages where I've got a 1 by 2 where the pictures are a little bit wider and I want to get them in there. So that's 1 column, 2 rows. I've got some where I put a full picture, so like maybe if there's 40 people in it, and that's just 1 picture per page, and that's family photos 1 by 1. And then I do family photos 2 by 1 if it's a large or a tall photo, like maybe of a family in front of a tree or something. There's very few of those. Anyway, I appreciate you learning about my books, and I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you.